We're here, everyone. Happy Mabon. Yeah, it's great to see you all too. Don't worry, Mom, we've been fine. I'll tell you all about it once we get settled. Oh, I'm happy to see you too, Mossy. Who's a good boy. You are, that's right, you are. What a cutie. John, seriously, put your hat on, please. You know they still can't see you yet. Ah, thank you. Sorry, Clara, I didn't mean to get distracted. What were you saying? Oh, she says she's really happy that you came back. Thank you for the warm welcome, everyone. We're both really happy to be here. But we need to get this food cooked before it spoils in the heat. Dad, is the fire pit still out by the field? Thanks. We'll be right back. You know, this is how we prepared all of my hot meals growing up. Yeah, the farmhouse obviously doesn't have electricity, so all of my food was cooked using a campfire. My parents were the ones who cooked for me at first, but... well, actually, one time they left William in charge of cooking, but let's just say they never repeated that mistake again. Pretty much as soon as I was able to hold a frying pan without falling over, they taught me how to cook. Well, you have to remember that interacting with physical objects takes a lot of their energy. While they were able to cook for me, it just wasn't practical to do all the time, especially since they had 3 other kids and a dog to look after. When I told you I grew up poor, I'm sure this wasn't exactly what you had in mind, right? Oh, yeah, we had to, steal. What? No, I didn't say that. Yeah, you're right. I'm not too proud of it, but what else were we supposed to do, I guess? I was the only living person in the family, and I couldn't work until I was a teenager, so they, and sometimes I, had to steal to get by. But as soon as I was able to get a job, I started working for everything I needed. Thank you for not judging me, baby. Hmm. It's not a part of my life I look back at too fondly. I love you too. And hey, I know this'll be a smaller autumn time feast than you're used to, so I just wanted to say thanks for agreeing to come here. My family loves you, and I'm really happy that I finally get to share them with somebody. I mean, when I was a kid, everyone at school could talk all about their moms and dads, but what could I do? I couldn't tell anyone the truth, they'd all laugh at me. And at worst, teachers might have sent CPS to take me away and put me with a living family. So, it feels nice that I can freely talk about them after all these years. And with the love of my life, no less. You're a keeper, that's for sure. Right, we're trying to cook. Ever had campfire stir-fry before? Well, let me show you how it's... Where did the rice go? Damn it, William, bring that back here. Uh, sorry for the language, Mom. I didn't mean it. Ghosts, am I right? This smells so good. You ready to dig in, baby? Oh, of course not. I would never forget to bless the meal, Dad. Take my hand, baby, and hold out your other one. John will, hold it there. Blessed be to the Mother Goddess by all her many names. May she bless my family, my friends, and my wonderful partner. May she bless the animals of the world all creatures big and small, and people everywhere. To her, I am grateful for this wonderful food that my partner and I are about to enjoy. To her, I am grateful for giving me my wonderful family who I wouldn't be here without. They mean everything to me, and I couldn't imagine life without them. And to her, I am grateful for my lover. Meeting them was one of the best things that could have ever happened to me, and I wouldn't trade them for anything. Please continue to watch over us that we may always partake in your gracious bounty. Thanks, Mom. I just spoke from the heart. Of course I meant it, Clara. Every word. No, silly, they can't eat anything. That's why I only made enough for the two of us. Yeah, Mabon's as a kid were much less a family feast and more of a let's spoil the human with food day. I always felt so bloated after. I know, Dad, you say that every time I eat something. Trust me, if I could find a way for you to eat again, I would. Besides, I still don't think you miss food as much as Mossy does. He's on his hind legs, begging at the table. If he were alive, he'd be drooling all over your plate right now. I know, Mossy, I'm sorry. If I could give you some, I would. But you'll have to settle for the smells, okay? You know, Mabon didn't even have its name when my parents died. Yeah, I mean, the family's always celebrated the autumn equinox in some form or another, but being the only member of the family who was alive in the 21st century, well, I was the one to introduce the name to them. Although I will say the merging of cultures was quite funny. Yeah, Mom and Dad were always pagans, and that means that, of course, so was I, since they raised me, but being that John and William and Clara were all at least on the earth for about a decade before they became part of the family, well, it was interesting trying to merge the concepts of the Thanksgiving that those three were used to celebrating and the autumnal equinox that Mom and Dad were used to. And of course the latter was all that I had ever heard much about, so you can imagine my confusion around November every year when all of a sudden all of our grade school teachers had us draw turkeys with our hands for some reason. Of course they don't teach you the history about all of that until much later, so by the time I had actually learned what it was all about, I had to ask my siblings for a little bit of insight, and, well, it took Clara a whole hour before I even understood what she was talking about. I know, Clara, you're trying your best. That's all anyone can ask for. Besides, even you didn't know that much then. Yeah, I guess you can kind of imagine how strange it was growing up with, a pagan family who also happened to be ghosts. I suppose I was doomed to be a little bit weird from the start. Although, yeah, I suppose you're right. I did do some weird stuff of my own accord when I was younger. Okay, Dad, you can stop with the story now. Dad, cut it out. It's embarrassing. Ugh, what? Why would I tell them that? I. Dad says that he's excited for when you can finally hear him, so that he can tell you a bunch of stories from when I was a kid. Lucky enough for me, that won't happen for a while. Ghost hauntings take a lot of time. I'd know because some people decided to haunt my bully when I was in elementary school. John, William, seriously, it started a rumor that I was a witch. And, I mean, I turned out to be one, but I'd hardly call that a successful revenge when I was still a kid. The details are complicated. I'll tell you another time. You know, as chaotic as this place can be sometimes, I'm really glad that I get to call you all my family, and I can't wait for you to officially become part of it. Oh, nothing. I was just talking to myself. Hey, Mom, you said there was something you wanted to ask? Come on, play along. That's right, she wants to know how we first met. Why don't you tell him the story, baby? Uh, you'll have to backtrack. I don't think they know what a dating app is. Yeah, they don't really know what a mobile phone is either. Clara was the only one of them alive even after basic telephones were invented. This is gonna take a while. Hmm? What'd you say? Oh, oh my gosh. You can really see them? Seeing floating orbs is the first step. I'm so happy for you. Come here. Mm. Oh, I'm so happy. Their haunting is catching on much quicker than I thought. Do you guys know why that would be? I like your theory, Mom. Well, whatever's going on, let's just hope it continues. That way I won't have to play translator anymore. Yes, and so you can hear all of my embarrassing stories.